Hello, welcome to an unorthodox video that I'm doing in my car in a parking lot right outside of work. I'm still like in my work uniform. I don't know, I had some time and I've been wanting to record this video for a while, so I figured why not do it in my car in the rain, propped up on my steering wheel terribly. I'm trying to be like in frame. Sorry if I keep looking not at the camera. I did a video like this before where I tried to keep looking at the camera and then I kept looking to the side, and this is weird. This is jarring because I'm not, whoa, notifications. I'll try not to do this as much, but sorry if I look terrible. I tried to frame it okay. Sorry if the rain is loud. Sorry if the audio is bad. Yeah. Anyway, hello, welcome to VGU's YouTube channel. My name is Graydon Webb, and last week, 2 weeks ago, by the time you see this, probably 2 weeks ago, I went to the Penny Arcade Expo in Boston, so PAX East, as we call it. And if you've been watching our channel for a while, you may know that I've done a video like this kind of recently. I framed it in like, oh, these are some indies that you should be watching, but really they were indies that I had seen at the PAX East from last year, and I just didn't do this video in a timely manner. So I'm trying to do it in a timely manner this year, and I'll be honest, it wasn't the best show that I've been to. I've been to at least 10 PAX Easts now, I think, and they're varying. They're you know, some of them are better than others, a lot better than others. Some of them are a lot worse. And in recent years, they've been getting to a point of not so great. And this year's, after last year was pretty awesome. If you saw the video, there was a lot of cool games that I saw that I really liked. And what I'm trying to get at is I didn't see a whole lot and I didn't play a whole lot this year. So I thought I might try to do like a top 5 best and a top 5 worst. The worst more being a bit nitpicky, like what can PAX do to make it a better show in the future years. So I guess without further ado, let's jump into one of the worst things. So probably the biggest complaint that I would have about PAX, and it's this weird catch-22. It's too, like, it's getting bigger. It's not too big, but it's getting bigger. We are in a world where E3 no longer exists, where we have all these digital showcases, and there's not as much hands-on for the public activity, you know? So a thing like PAX, or even like Gamescom we still have, and I think the Summer Game Show, like those opening night live things let the public in, but they're just not as big. So a thing like PAX is big. It's getting big. It's the place where you go to try out new things and talk to these developers. All the things that I've enjoyed about PAXs in the years, but in previous years, but now people are really wanting to do that even more. So because of this, we have this issue with congestion, so to speak. And probably the biggest thing this year was the long lines. On my list of goods and bads, I had put long lines / long demos, and they kind of go hand in hand with each other, because I think it begins at the core of your demos are too long, which is great. It's a great thing, but what I've always said about PAX that I've enjoyed is being able to just find the smaller things. I'm not there for huge demos. Back in the days when PlayStation and Xbox were there, you would see these huge lines, and even PlayStation, you may have heard me complain before about, like, you had to sign up on the app for a slot. And I didn't love that, because you would show up, have like a 20-minute, sometimes a half-hour long demo, and like you would have to time accordingly. The app thing cut down on lines, which was cool, but your demos were way long, so you only had a certain amount of people who would get to try this game. And PAX, if it's for the people, should be, welcoming to big crowds. So we have this problem of demos being long, and the lines also being long. One of these games is on my best of list. It's probably my game of the show, to be honest. It was a 20-minute long demo, and when I got in the line, it was at 2 hours of a wait with like maybe 20 people in front of me. Like, it shouldn't have been this long, but I was pretty happy to get a 20-minute long demo, to be honest. Frankly, because what this game was is it's Dustborn. If you haven't heard of it, I'm going to put some footage up on the screen. Dustborn, it's published by Quantic Dream, their indie branch that published a game called Under the Waves last year that I adored. But it's not developed by the same team. I honestly forgot the developer. I'll put that on screen. But it's a narrative-driven semi-rhythm game about a band in a post-apocalyptic world that is trying to be like rebellious against the system. And there's some a lot of sci-fi elements, like robots. There's some special powers, and the biggest draw of it is your ability to use emotion. All of your characters have these emotion-based special powers, and they can use them in combat to mess with enemies. Some of them can like buff your team with like a shout, or some of them can turn an enemy against the others with the words that they use. And all of these are kind of sparked by like rhythm-based prompts. My demo really did a bit of everything. I didn't even get to the very end because they just set a 20-minute timer, but there was some narrative, like just story-driven, talking dialogue options. There was a big expansive combat section that had me like throwing a bat, and then like I had like this like force glove with a bat I could boomerang, and just hitting people with a bat, and then using the other characters, these kind of NPCs in your group, with their own emotive powers. And it's just got a lot of variation to the combat there. I like that a lot. And then there was just a lot of story, it was cool. This was a really cool demo to see, because Dustborn has never been, I believe this was the first time this has been a demo at PAX East. They had a big panel that was there the day before I went, so I didn't get to see it. But they gave out like a prequel comic book, so that kind of got you ready for what you were about to play, and you learned the characters ahead of time. They had a lot of cool swag, and just their booth was really neat. There was a big presence there, and it was really cool to see that, because it was a rather big indie game that I'm excited to see more of. So Dustborn definitely should be on your list if you're a big fan of rhythm games, if you're a big fan of Life is Strange likes. And yeah, I don't think you'll be led astray. I kind of want to keep talking about best of. Honestly, to be honest, I don't have my list in front of me. I might do some of this rest of this at home, because I might run out of what I remember. Another one of the games that I really want to talk about is Planets of Starcadia. This is the team behind Ember Heroes, I believe it is called, and it's a game I never played. I actually talked about it in a recent article I wrote about like my favorite music used in game trailers from last year. But the game the game that they had to show off at PAX East was Planets of Starcadia. It's in very, very early development, but it looks awesome. Our friends at 61 Indie gave it an award this year as one of the best games they saw there, and I truly think it deserves it. It's a turn-based strategy game in the similar vein of I don't know. I always want to say like Earthbound, because it's the kind of thing that Josh loves, and he loves Earthbound. But I think it's more akin to I don't know, early Final Fantasy looking type of thing, you know, like a Pokemon type combat. Maybe that's what Earthbound is. I'm so not well versed in that turn-based strategy, but the art style is amazing. There's some footage on screen right now. The art style is really, really good. It's got funny writing. It's got these unique characters. There was like a pig guy and was he a dinosaur? Or he was a bird. He's a duck. He was a duck. There was a duck character. And I was very thankful to get to play it next to a developer who just kind of gravitated to my station and helped me through the whole demo, including this big boss fight at the end that other people were failing, but he was able to help me out and show me all these different options of how you can buff a character, how you can, you know, do like team attacks and what each attack does and all the power-ups and yeah, just it's one of those games that you really should play and just find out if you vibe with it, because I could talk about it all day. You know, it's a turn-based strategy game. You've seen them before, but this one is definitely one that should be on your radar. I keep thinking about it. It's gorgeous. The music was great. But yeah, a demo they're going to try to release by the end of this year. That's how like early this is. And they don't even have like a window of release yet. They're hoping next year. Yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's Planet of Starcadia, and it's going to be really, really cool, I think. This is a genuinely exciting indie on the horizon. Speaking of indies on the horizon and, you know, other turn-based strategy games, I'll shift my woes. I'll go to something that I didn't love as much, though it is something that's good, like similar to how the long demos are good. You know, Steam this year, and they may have done this before, but I don't remember it as prevalent as this year. They had a PAX East store page on Steam, and it included a lot of demos that were at PAX East, but you could play them at home. And that sounds awesome, but it kind of takes away from going to PAX East a little bit. Like, I mean, there's still the, you know, the excitement of being there, as well as being able to play with the developer or talk to a dev or give advice. You know, that's awesome. Not advice, feedback. I just felt like, why it cut my list of things I wanted to see at PAX down, because I could just go home and play them there and not have to wait in a line and wait for someone to finish this long demo. And yeah, so I mean, again, I'm being nitpicky, but this was just one of those things like, why am I here was much? Why did I pay for coming? I mean, especially when you're like, it's 4 days of PAX. My whole thing was like, next year, do I want to go just one? I usually go two. I was like, do I want to go just one day and just to see it? Or do I want to go every day so that I can really wait in those lines and feel like I got something out of PAX? So that will be something I consider throughout this year until then. But I will say, some of these demos are still up, these PAX East Steam demos. I played a few of them. I'm going to have a video going up soon of like a trio or so of these games that I played. But some that are really worth checking out, Fretless is another turn-based strategy, kind of rhythm-based game, pixel art. It's definitely music-based. It's all based around like fighting with guitars and music notes and stuff. It's very cool. My Familiars is another turn-based strategy game. I don't know why I was drawn to these. This one actually Josh had recommended to check out, and it was really good. Another art style, looks like Ninja Turtle vibes. Just I liked it. It was like very graffiti looking, dystopian, odd, but very, very cool. And then, of course, Fallen Aces has a demo, at least at the time of recording it does. And that was one of the biggest ones at PAX East. Like, they had a huge line and a huge booth, and then I could go home and play the demo. Maybe it was a different demo for Fallen Aces, simply because I know there's been a few different demos over the many years of coverage of this game that's still yet to come out. But I played the demo of that. It's excellent. It really is just what I wanted it to be, a first-person boomer shooter-esque melee combat. There's some guns, but it's all like mafia, you know, like noir, what's his fucking name? Al Capone. Like, you know, that kind of, that mafia type thing. And it's, yeah, Fallen Aces is going to be awesome. But I could play it at home. I was able to just do that at home. So it's just like, why? It literally turned me away from their booth, and I didn't want to wait in that line because I knew I could do it at home. Another thing that turned me away from their booth, and this one is another little nitpicky thing, sponsorships at PAX East. Some of that shit is ridiculous and in your face, and it's gotta go. One of my favorite booths from any kind of convention things, they're at Comic-Cons, they're at PAX, is Wild Bill's Soda. They're a soda company. And this year they weren't there, and I thought that's odd. So I like searched them up on Twitter, but what's going on? And because of a brand deal, they weren't allowed to be at PAX East this year. Enter PAX East this year having a massive Mountain Dew booth, huge, at like the size of what Xbox used to have back in the day. And it was like just upsetting. Like, they had this big virtual wheel you could spin, you bring your bottles and your codes and the sweepstakes. I don't know. It made me not want to go to it because I love Mountain Dew. Don't give a fuck about their booths at a convention. To be honest, personally, I don't really give a fuck about any of the big promo booths. There's always, like, you know, computer manufacturers and people giving out raffles for video cards and mouses and stuff. I don't care to take part in that. Some people do. It's part of the thing. It's part of the excitement. But I'm there to play games, so I'm just like, eh. But I'm not gonna wait in line all day for a fucking Mountain Dew booth when it would have been nicer to just be like, hey, this is a soda thing that I can't get. I mean, Wild Bill's does have a presence on Amazon, but otherwise, like, I don't get that all the time. I can't get that all the time. So it's just that thing of like brand loyalty, I guess, but also just sponsorships being in your face, I think was pretty shitty. And I guess I'll touch on another thing that was irritating before I stop being so doomerish. But these, like I'm saying, these are like little nitpicky things. So I'm not really like, don't go to fucking PAX, but like, if we could fix these things, that would be cool. The amount of swag and free stuff at PAX, it has dwindled majorly in recent years. They used to have, like, I remember the first couple of years I was going, they were like, oh, here's a fucking, like, Rockstar Energy truck we just parked out front. Everybody gets one. And there was one year that they were, like, the first time I ever tried that Rain energy drink, they were just handing it out, like, all around the place. So here you go. They don't do that anymore. I passed one person that was like, oh, we're giving away Red Bull today, and they had, like, a backpack. But it wasn't, like, this big event. It may have just been a guest at the con. So, like, I mean, you couple that with the fact that the convention itself just doesn't have swag anymore. They have some digital goodies, which honestly, now I'm thinking about, I meant to get the promotional Marvel Snap card that they were giving out. But otherwise, like, you used to be able to get, like, things. They would have some physical items, maybe like a plush or a blow-up thing, or they would have special digital in-game goods with, like, real substantial things, and now they're just lame game. They don't mean it. It's and you got to go out of your way to find them. They used to be all in, like, a swag bag that you had to, like, line up and really get in there. It was just part of the event, the experience. There's none of that anymore. There's no swag bags. There's no showing up for those things. There's barely any, like, the amount of people who give away, like, pins or stickers at a booth has dwindled a lot too. It just feels like as your convention is getting bigger, the reasons to be excited are less. So it's like, odd. It's just this weird feeling. And maybe, again, I'm being nitpicky and curmudgeonly, but, you know, that's just how I'm feeling these days. I'll talk about one more game, one more thing that I really did like, and then I actually might have to leave this spot, and I will finish it in a different spot. Because this, coincidentally, shameless plug, I'm about to go to Godzilla vs. Kong New Empire with DJ so that we can talk about it on our Into the Monsterverse podcast, which you should go and find, link in the description. But anyway, something that was real fun about PAX, every once in a while you'll find a card game tabletop thing that is very unique, and I like that because I'm not there for that. But if someone's gonna pull me in and show me how to play a game, I might buy it. I've done it before. Like I said, I went 2 days, and the first day I saw this game and thought it looked fun, but someone else was playing it. Knew I was going the next day with my fiance. I went back and I got to play with the developers, so to speak. Sorry, I'm realizing that I'm looking at the screen like I said I wasn't gonna do, but hi. So we went and we played a game called Smug Owls, and this is a card game where, very similarly to Cards Against Humanity, you know the way that these kinds of things work, but you have like a prompt where you pull some cards, and if I can find like a game trailer, I'll put it up right here, but you pull some cards and it basically creates a riddle out of the cards. I wish I had the game with me, but I'm nowhere near it. And it makes a riddle. And the riddle is completely made up. There's no set answer to that riddle because you have created it out of cards you pulled from a deck. And everybody tries to think of a riddle, like everybody. And whoever, when you think of one, you put your hand on the table. And whoever doesn't have their hand down last becomes the card czar or the smug owl. You get the little token, and you get to judge everyone's riddle. And then the coolest thing to me was that you have this riddle of 3, maybe even more cards. I haven't played it yet since I bought it. Spoilers. But what I liked was you get these 3 cards at least. And if you're playing with 2 people, like we were, we were playing with 3 people, but, you know, say I was the smug owl. I have 2 riddles to hear. If I really like her riddle, but his riddle's pretty good, I can give her 2 cards and him 1. Or if his riddle was shit, I can give her all 3 cards. So you have this ability to, you know, still give prizes to whoever, like give a little win to whoever wins. And thus it's not about it's still about who has the most cards. But you don't know as easily until the end because you could keep getting, everybody wins every round sometimes. And you're just giving out points. So I liked that. It changes the idea of what Cards Against Humanity is. It's not just, all right, you had the best one, here you get the card. So that's Smug Owls. Fun little tabletop game. I always tend to get drawn into one every year, but I don't always buy it. I've bought some cool ones in the past. I think that's how I first got Super Fight and a lot of those, I forget what his name is, Jack something. Those games like Marry, Kill, God. Oh, what's the other one? There's another, You Have Problems. That's a great card game. They're all very based on the Cards Against Humanity type thing, but what isn't these days? So that was fun. Those tabletop games are pretty fun. And when I see you next, I will not be in a car. So let's head over there now. I lied. I'm back in my car. I just kind of changed my clothes, and hopefully that snap did something and looked cool. I have been putting off part 2 of this video for a long time, and I decided I just got to get it done. I have 3 more things to talk about, and I'm just doing it right here because it's as good a place as any. So, we're back in my car. We're back talking about PAX East, and where did I leave off? I had 2 good things and 1 bad thing that I wanted to mention. So how about I'll say the bad thing, and I'll get it out of the way. I felt, and this is, again, nitpicking here, where I'm not you've been watching the video. I'm just getting nitpicky about things. But I felt like a missed opportunity at this PAX East was the Riffmaster not being there. If you're not aware, the Riffmaster is a brand new guitar peripheral that is being made, I forget by who, but it's made for PlayStation, Xbox, and I believe PC. And it's for use in Rock Band 4 and the Fortnite Festival, and hopefully upcoming, music games, rhythm games. And PAX has always been a place where they've had some new things to show off, whether it's like PC hardware or VR. When that was really coming around, Oculus had a big booth and they had demos. And especially a place where Harmonix, it doesn't really exist anymore. They're part of Epic now, and they're working on the Fortnite Festival, but Harmonix is a Boston-based company. So if they're still based in Boston, I'm not entirely sure. It seems like a missed opportunity that they didn't have something to be able to show off this new product, like a partnership with them, and just kind of let you try it out, especially as just being a convention for new things, like trying out new things in gaming. People would have liked to try the Riffmaster, I feel. And it's almost available. Like, pre-orders are up. It's coming out in either the end of April or the beginning of May, and it's just like so soon that they could have shown some kind of demo of it, and I was just very surprised that there was nothing. There was no way to see that there. So, missed opportunity, but let's get to the good things. My first of the two things I will briefly touch upon because it's one of the ones that I didn't get to play. I just got to watch it get played. This was a game called Unwound, which Josh had told me to check out, so I did. I found it in the Indie Mini Showcase, I believe. I had no idea what this game was. Walked up, watched somebody play a bit of it, and it instantly, caught me. The way I was describing it was like, if you remember Doki Doki Universe, I highly doubt you do, but it was a game on PS4. I want to say it was a launch title indie game, and it was about a robot, I think, on an alien planet, or maybe you were an alien, and you went around to different planets and you tried to solve problems. You did fetch quests or whatever, and helped establish relationships by doing tasks for them. And it was kind of like one of those emotion simulator type things, relationship sims, not like a dating sim, but keep everybody happy type of thing, while also doing tasks. And it was very cute, and it was fun. And Unwound kind of it reminded me of that, but it also is heavily influenced by a game like Marble Madness, or just something that has like a rolling ball mechanics, a Katamari or whatever. And you play as a ball of yarn, and you just go through this world, and there's some platforming in there, there's this dialogue options and such, and I think it's really all about creating relationships with people. And one of the most noteworthy moments I saw, you were just rolling around and you knocked over a vase, and then or it was a doll, I believe, and then all of a sudden the doll was like, yo, why'd you break me? Why did you just knock into me? And it was just so unexpected to see this part of the environment start talking to you, and then all of a sudden you've got a problem, and you can fix it or you can make it worse. And it seemed like it was going to be a lot of fun, just a lot of world exploration and narrative. Hopefully there's some kind of deep narrative to it, but even just the mechanics of it, if it turns out to be like a Doki Doki Universe with a yarn ball, it's going to be a lot of fun. And my last good thing, and my last thing at all about PAX East 2023 was I got to try Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the video game. I'm surprised that I'm calling it a good thing because we lost, and I did quite badly. Actually, I didn't do too terribly. The crazy thing about this game was I knew going into it what it was. I have seen trailers and gameplay. I'd signed up for the alpha test, but I don't think I got in. And I'd never played it. For some reason, I forgot about the Dead by Daylight, the asymmetric multiplayer thing. So it did end up being like a 6-on-6, but I didn't know that as I was playing until the very end, when me and one other guy were the last two alive, and we ended up dying, and then everybody oh. So they were watching us, assumedly, and that's nerve-wracking, to say the least. But the big thing to say about it is that it definitely was fun. It plays a lot like a Dead by Daylight, or I have more experience with the Friday the 13th game, where you've got humans on one side, these alien clowns on the other side, and the whole thing is to try to capture them as a clown, capture the humans, wrap them up in the bubble gum or the cotton candy, and then bring them back to like the hooks and, just kill all of them. And there's the ability to kill the aliens on the human side, but the thing that was confusing to me was I did kill some of them and then they came back. So I don't know from a demo standpoint the exact mechanics of how people can come back, because humans came back too, and the clowns came back even though they were dying in the round. It was a little confusing there, but for the most part, pretty straightforward. And it was just a lot of I see them over there, okay, I gotta be quiet, we were in like a carnival that was reminiscent of the one in Spider-Man 2. It looked exactly like that, but it has like this dark, foggy haze over it. You hear some laughter in the background. There was some scary stuff. So the atmosphere was, the horror vibes that you would want from a game like this. And it was very suspenseful. I mean, you're going through, I like the ability to lock doors behind you, so you felt a little more like you were secure. But then there's always just this, you're going in a lot of buildings that are where you would have the, carnival games, like throwing balls, balloon pop, whatever. So there's these counters and they can see over the counters, but you can kind of hide in the back, and then there was arcades. There's a lot of cool locations, and I liked that the environment felt varied. Yeah, it all felt very dangerous and suspenseful, and if I were playing it with friends, I definitely feel like I would have done better, but also the stakes would have been higher, and it just would have been a really cool atmosphere. So I'm not sure if this, I want to say it's launching on Game Pass, but I might be wrong about that. But I hope that I can get some friends together to play it, because it just looks like one of those ones that's going to be fun to do that with. We played Friday the 13th on this YouTube channel, and we we'll be playing it again. We want to play Dead by Daylight, just those multiplayer, those asymmetrical type games are really, they can be overdone, but if they have something unique to them, they can feel inspired and new, and I feel like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is going to fit the bill for the positive side of that genre. So that was PAX East 2023. Thank you for coming along this little journey with me. I hope I didn't sound too nitpicky and shitty. Of course, I recommend anybody give this convention a shot. Give any convention a shot. Just go out there, Comic Cons, be part of the community. It's a great time. You're gonna meet people, or at the very least see people that you don't usually see and socialize. And it's just a fun vibe in the community that you feel a part of. It feels richer, and that's always nice to be a part of. But yeah, I'll be there next year again. I don't know if I'm gonna go less time or more time, but I'll have to think on that for a year. At the very least, I know that I will be there. I'm not going to stop going to PAX just because one of them wasn't that great. So yeah, if you end up going, I'll see you there in a year, of course. I keep forgetting that this just happened. I usually do this video a lot later, but Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one and not like this one when we do gameplays, but you know, we do some great stuff here, and please share it around. Comment what you'd like to see from us. I really want to know some feedback on just what kind of videos you're into. You know, now that we have some more people coming in and watching stuff, please let us know what you'd like to see, and we will be happy to make that, because we're always just an open book. We just kind of throw stuff up there, see if it does well, see what you'd like to watch, and we're getting a feel of it, but it's always good to just know. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Deuces.